and welcome to Valentina's Corner. I am so happy that you're here with me today. Thank you so much for stopping by in my channel. So what I am bringing to you today is the Saving Mothers and Newborns project. This project is dear to me, you guys, because not only as a mother, but also as a Ghanaian, I want to make sure that my experience will be useful and will be valuable to all mothers out there. I am a mom of two. I have experienced high-risk pregnancy for both of my pregnancies, and I have always wondered in my heart, so how is it that mothers in Ghana do it? How is our community in Ghana being helped when it comes to preventing infant mortality and premature mortalities and motherhood mortalities during the prenatal, intranatal, and postnatal period? How? I know that Ghana is doing much better right now in terms of like reducing or the reduction of infant mortalities. However, the numbers are still super high up there. And I think it is about time that we take the responsibility to do what's best for our community. I said to myself, well, I don't live in Ghana. I don't have plans of moving to Ghana, at least right now, maybe in the future, but not right now, because I don't have the capacities to do so at this moment. However, how is it that within me, within what I have, how can I make an impact? And I feel like one way I can do so is through YouTube, right? I am a registered nurse, and as you guys know, I've been a nurse for 10 years. And I am using my nursing skills, and I am using what I've learned and what I have experienced as a mother to come out to you and give you evidence-based practice of how is it that we can, as a community, prevent unnecessary, read my lips, unnecessary infant mortality and motherhood mortality in Ghana and hopefully in Africa eventually, or for anybody that's watching this video. When you watch this video, take what I say seriously. Please share what you see, what you hear, what you learn. Comment if you have any additional things that may be useful to myself or anybody else so that you may want me to bring up on a future video. And of course, subscribe, right? Because I'm going to be bringing more and more useful content to you and to your community. This series are meant to help and to impact our community. And many may not have internet in rural areas in Ghana, but for those who know people in rural areas in Ghana, or you know pregnant women who may not even, they look like they need help financially, share this video with them. Share the information that you got in here with them. Do something to help them because it's very important. Now let's get to the statistics. I had to do a little bit of research before coming to you guys and talk to you guys about this because I want you guys to take this video seriously. So the current infant mortality rate in Ghana in 2023, it is of 30,802 deaths per 1,000 live births. And that is a 3.04 decline from 2022. The infant mortality rate for Ghana in 2022 was 31,768 deaths per 1,000 live births, which was a 2.95% decline from 2021. That is showing that Ghana is improving, but it is a slow improvement and the numbers are still really high up there. So unfortunately, like I said, the mortality rate remains so high and is so unacceptably high that in many parts of Ghana, a lot of these mortality, these deaths could be prevented. And one of the way of preventing these mortality deaths is by providing education, is by gaining knowledge. And this is why I'm bringing this to you guys, because we need to be empowered. We need to be enlightened. We need to be aware of what's going on in our surroundings, especially when we are pregnant, right? Because if we don't know, how can we help ourselves? Let me tell you, even here in the United States, if you don't know things, if you are not educated or knowledgeable enough to know yourself, the doctors, they're just doing what's in the book. That's all. But if you're not able to tell them your symptoms, you don't stand up for yourself, the next thing you know is that the treatment they're giving you may not be the most suitable treatment for you. So it's important for you to be aware, to be empowered. It's important. It's very important. Annually, there is an estimate of 2.4 million newborns that die within the first 28 days of birth, which is approximately 6,700 neonatal deaths occurring per day in Ghana presently. that is a lot, guys. That is really, really, really a lot. Another thing is accounting for more than 40% of deaths in children under 5. The major cause of neonatal mortality are preterm birth complications, intrapartum related events, and infections. Most of these deaths are preventable, and with timely health interventions, these deaths would just not happen. Okay, so according to the Ghana Medical Journal, the top 5 causes of maternal deaths in Ghana are: the first one is hemorrhage. And for those who don't know what hemorrhage is, it's excessive bleeding. Hemorrhage can happen for so many reasons, and one of the ways that you can prevent the complications from happening from hemorrhage is by obtaining prenatal care. If through prenatal care you find out that you have things such as placenta abruptio or placenta previa, or you are high risk for these things, then you know what to do in order to prevent complications from happening from these conditions, which can cause hemorrhage, which can then be controlled. Now, another one is abortion. Of course, if you go and get an abortion from an unlicensed place, or you do it when it's not the right time for you to do it, too late, or you just go and take any of these concoctions that they be selling in a black market, of course it can lead to death. Hypertensive disorders, guys, hypertensive disorders. I am victim of hypertensive disorders in pregnancy because I experienced a severe case of preeclampsia in both of my pregnancies, and it did not lead to eclampsia, which is something that I will discuss in a future video, so that you are aware and alerted of the consequences of such an illness during pregnancy. But one of the biggest silent killers in Ghanaian mothers today, and it is in the statistics, is preeclampsia, high blood pressure in pregnancy that cannot be controlled with medications or treatment. The only treatment to preeclampsia is delivery. So if you are discovered to have preeclampsia that is threatening to your life or baby's life at 20 weeks of pregnancy, then that means that they have to deliver the baby prematurely, and of course the baby will not survive. Another one is infections. So infections that happen from, say, a lot of hemorrhage, right, can lead to sepsis, and that's septic shock, and that is when you cannot handle the infection anymore. Nothing can be done, no antibiotics can cure the situation, and you pass away from it. Another one is ectopic pregnancy. Now, let's stop there for a little bit. Ectopic pregnancy is very serious because it can happen to anybody, and it can be, once again, almost like preeclampsia, where it can be silent. You know you feel pregnant, or you may not know you feel pregnant. You may not even know that you're pregnant if it's your first pregnancy. Even if it's your second pregnancy, you might not know. And all of a sudden you start feeling somehow. And then you take a pregnancy test and it says pregnant. That is the time you have to go and get prenatal care right away, because you don't know if the pregnancy implanted itself in the fallopian tube, in the ovaries, or in the right place, which is the uterus. So you need to know that. You need to know that very, very early on, because if the pregnancy progresses and it's an ectopic pregnancy, meaning it's in the wrong place, you can die, because whatever other area that's not meant for the baby to enlarge, and that organ can burst, cause internal bleeding, therefore it can cause hemorrhage and you can pass away from it. There are other causes for maternal and infant deaths in Ghana, and of course in other parts of the world, that haven't really been listed in many of these journals, but I want to enlighten you of them today. One of them is lack of knowledge. A lot of us, especially teenagers, young adults, people who are not in the medical field, are not really aware of the complications of pregnancy and the things that can come with pregnancy. So they don't know that if I am looking like a watermelon, maybe something is wrong with me. A certain increase in weight is normal, but when it's too much, where your feet are like pig feet, like huge, your face is huge, that's not normal. That is an illness that has happened during your pregnancy. You need to go and seek care for it, and not just sit and think, oh, it's normal. There are certain things that are not normal, and if you don't take time, it can lead to death. You, the mother, the baby, or both. So it's very important. Lack of knowledge is one other reason. Another one is cultural influence. Unfortunately, in Ghana and other African countries, there is this thing about witchcraft. Let me just put it straight. Witchcraft. Maybe if something is not going well or something or whatever, they put it on to just pray. Just pray, just pray. Praying is good, but God give us a brain to use that brain to do something about what's happening. That is prayer. Pray to God that you can use your brain to act accordingly based on your situation. Pray to God to give you the knowledge, give you the wisdom to take good care of yourself during pregnancy, to use your instinct to do the right thing. So cultural influence is also another reason why that we have a lot of maternal and infant deaths that could be prevented. Another one is lack of access to medical care. This could be on top of all of the reasons that I listed. Unfortunately, it is one of the reasons that is difficult to really find a solution to, because it involves finances. It involves Ghana system. You still are going in and pay for fee service type of thing. I know that there is some type of insurance out there, but that insurance is not very easily accessible to everyone, and it might not work in certain facilities, especially in rural areas. So what happens is you have to pay out of pocket. So for you to access prenatal care the right way, for you to access the diagnostic services that you need in order to diagnose whether your pregnancy is high risk or not, it's difficult. So there is something that we need to discuss about how can we help our community, how can we help Ghana solve that issue so that even without really depending on just the government, because only so much the government can do, right? But what can we do as people to help in that area? Another one is lack of diagnostic tools. Lack of diagnostic tools and equipment to diagnose high-risk pregnancies and high-risk infants, to diagnose babies who could possibly be having some illnesses that can affect them later on. And how can we help and be prepared to take care of those children? And how can we prepare to take care of those high-risk mothers, right? Some places don't have the diagnostic tools. Even the biggest hospitals in Ghana may not have them. So, there are so many challenges that we are facing today in Ghana that are at our disadvantage, but we can start today, and we can start with something simple as spreading the news, sharing this video, letting people see this video, and letting people know that these are some of the things that happen during pregnancy that you should watch out for. I'll be making more detailed videos about complications in pregnancies that African women, as women, are to look out for when we are pregnant, and signs and symptoms that you need to watch out for babies that are born after a high-risk pregnancy and even after a normal pregnancy, so that you can look at your baby and see, okay, this doesn't look normal, not because of just your feeling, but because of statistics, because of numerical values. You're able to see and assess your child and say, oh, the breathing is not quite right. Oh, my child looks a bit too tired, and it's been too tired for way too long. What's going on? So this is really, really, really for you. It's really for the community. It's really to help eliminate, or at least help reduce, unnecessary deaths in our mothers and our babies. Now, let's move forward with what we have discussed. I had to write a lot down because these things, I don't want to just speak out of the top of my head. I want to use evidence-based practice to discuss what the issues are, because it is dear in my heart. You guys, as mentioned, have had 2 pregnancies, of which both of them were high risk, of which both of them ended up and resulted in premature births. And I am grateful to God that everything has gone on well. But there are so many cases in which this doesn't happen. And it is simply because of lack of knowledge and lack of immediate care that can be given to prevent certain unwanted outcome. So this is why I'm bringing this to you. This is why I am doing this. I want to make an impact in our mothers' lives in Ghana, because there is something that I watched even on YouTube, and it is from one of my inspirational my most inspirational people that I watch on YouTube, her name is Denta. And it was in one of her videos where she mentioned something about how it is important to help. Yes, it was this video where she went and helped somebody in a rural area, a mother of so many children who was living in an uncompleted building or something like that. And she mentioned that the reason why it was dear to her heart is because helping mothers is helping a whole nation, because you're giving birth to kids who are going to impact this world in the future. So that's one of the reasons why that was dear to her, to help that mother, to help improve her life in the way that she best could. And so this is why I am bringing this to you guys with the best of my capacities. I have some type of medical knowledge because of my background. And so with this medical knowledge, along with my experience as a mother, I am coming to you with the most up-to-date information that I can have in order to impact, in order to influence, in order to raise awareness among our community. If you've liked this video, please, 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 if you found it helpful to you, it can be helpful to so many. Do one thing for me. The only thing I need is for you to share this video, for you to comment. Like I said, if you have anything that you feel like I can add, anything that you have questions about, write it down below. And I will do my best to bring it up to the next video and discuss it with you. Comment, comment, comment. Like. Because the more you like, the more the algorithm takes it and places it in front of people who may need this information, right? And then subscribe, because when you subscribe, that's how you know I have posted additional content that might be useful to you. Sometimes I post content that is about just regular fun vlogs, because I think it's fun for you to get to know my life, what I do. Sometimes on a day-to-day basis, we get familiar with each other, we get to know each other, we really get, close, because we are building a family here, right? Sometimes I post vlogs. Sometimes I post content that is supposed to be, or is meant to be helpful for nurses who are aspiring, or let's say aspiring nurses who are trying to become nurses, for people who don't know anything about nursing at all and are thinking about getting into the field. And I also post content for those nurses who have finished school and are looking to pass the boards. What are some of the skills that they need in order to pass the NCLEX and so on and so forth. I post a lot about nursing and about how to be successful in that field. So my channel is a lot about career, it's a lot about helping our communities, a lot about raising awareness in different illnesses that we are facing today. And it's a lot about vlogs and lifestyle, so that you can get to know me and get to know, just my day-to-day. You get familiar with who you are watching, right? So anyway, all right, I'm gonna be done. I'm not gonna continue to ramble, because then, when you keep going like that, then you don't even know what you're talking. You just end up in different topics. So let me just close it here and say bye-bye to you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Once again, I say ciao, till next time.